Happy and healthy altitudes to you. Hello, I'm Gianetti, and I'm coming to you from Healthy Altitudes, Colorado. And I'm here with Dr. Matt today, and we're going to talk about quitting smoking or quitting vaping because they're just dirty habits. Dr. Matt, what do you want to add to it about smoking and vaping? What do you think? How you doing?
Well, hi everyone, it's Dr. Matt coming to you from sunny North Carolina and yourpeakmind.com. Nice to talk with you and be with you again here today. Hi Gary, thanks for having me back today, and it's great to see everyone out there. Yeah, we wanted to do a little conversation today about smoking and vaping, and we could talk about all kinds of tobacco products in this conversation, and we just thought we'd sort of broach the subject. A big part of my business has to do with people wanting to stop smoking. But even that number's kind of declined a little bit during the lockdown. I guess people don't know what else to do with themselves except for smoke, and that's okay. I mean, whatever's getting you through this really challenging time might be what you're doing. But we're thinking that that's not going to be forever, and you're going to want to come out of this and still be able to breathe okay. So we thought we'd talk a little bit about smoking. So Gary, why don't you start us off? Tell us a little bit about yourself as far as your run-in with the cancer sticks.
So yeah, smoking definitely hit me. I used to smoke a pack and a half of cigarettes a day. We were just talking a little bit about that before we started recording this. I smoked a pack and a half of cigarettes a day for years. And then I also lost my mom to cancer because she was a smoker. And she didn't quit until the doctor told her she was going to die from cancer. And he said, it's metastasized. You got to make some changes. And that day she quit. I think that it's different for everybody. For me, I quit because I changed my habits. I switched to exercise, and every time I wanted a cigarette, I just started doing push-ups. And I started with 10 push-ups instead of a cigarette, and then worked to 15, then 20, and then started bodybuilding as a result. I saw some significant goals there that I could work towards that were healthier and would make me happier than coughing throughout my whole summer as a college kid painting houses. And I didn't smell as bad either when I wasn't smoking. So there were all those benefits that I started to realize, and that's partly what kept me quitting. And then, as I was also mentioning, it's still hard today. If I'm out on a run, even on a 10, 20-mile run, if I smell a cigarette, I can still smell it, and it still smells good because our mind has these weird associations. I don't smoke. It would be hard to run if I did, but it is one of those things you always have to keep it in mind and always battle it, but be strong. And that's hopefully some tips that Dr. Matt can help you with as well.
And it must be working for you too, Gary. Look at those guns you got going there. Your arms.
Well, these little things. Yeah, well, I think honestly too, it's also a balance point. Thank you, Dr. Matt. But I will be the first to say, instead of being addicted to cigarettes, I'm addicted to exercise. So you always have to keep a balance in that too, right? People think I'm crazy because I work out all the time. But what's the alternative? Smoking cigarettes? So we always have to keep a balance. And I think that that's something that's very important from a psychology standpoint.
Well, balance is absolutely huge in your life in so many ways, but focusing directly on using some sort of tobacco product. In my practice, I've discovered basically 3 themes for reasons why people don't want to stop smoking. One of them is because I think that, I don't want to blame big business, but I guess it's got to be part of it from the advertising and things like that. People have been convinced that it's impossible to quit. You may have even heard that it's harder to get off than heroin and that sort of thing. And so that's part of the message that I think big business wants us to have because it keeps them and keeps people buying cigarettes. So that's one reason. It sounds like it's insurmountable. It can't, I know some people that are great at quitting. They've done it a million times. Part of the challenge there is that they have to decide this is something that's going to change, just like your mom did. It took one time, one physician to say to her, "You're going to die," and she was able to change, which is pretty powerful stuff. It doesn't always come in that form, but that's one of the reasons that people keep smoking is because they've been taught that this is something that they can't possibly stop doing. Another thing that's come up is because they just like to smoke. They like the inhaling. They like the moments of quiet that they have when they're smoking. They even like those days when they're out in the middle of the rainstorm trying to hover under something, trying to get one last hit in, which I've always wondered about myself because I've not been a smoker, but I grew up with smokers. My mom and my father both were pretty good smokers. So they go outside. And I grew up in Ohio. They went outside and when it was 10 degrees and just had to get their hit, right? So they like to smoke. That was part of what they wanted to do. And then the other thing is that quitting for somebody represents something that they just don't feel like they're capable of doing. They don't feel like they're capable of making that change. They don't feel like they're capable of aiming their money that they're spending. You know, right now, if you have a 2-pack a day habit, you're spending about $4,500 a year to $5,000 a year. Think about that over 10 years.
Yeah.
It's an extra $50,000. I mean, why not, right? So the idea is that people they don't think they can do that. They'd rather spend their $5 or $8 or $9 on a pack, and even more in some states, than they would just saying, listen, I want to do some push-ups instead. So those 3 basic themes are what's out there.
Yeah.
For why people simply don't want to stop doing something that they know is bad. There are over 70 compounds in cigarettes that cause cancer, and yet we still continue to smoke. So not to get preachy about it as much as I want to point out the idea that a lot of what's going on with COVID is specifically connected to lungs and breathing and respiratory. And at some point, even though you're hunkered down, sheltering in place, still smoking whatever packs of cigarettes you might have left, eventually you're going to want to emerge. And this is when we want to start thinking about the intentionality. How important is it for me to continue putting that kind of poison in my body? You know, next time you're talking to your friend and they say, hey, do you want to go? And you say to them, yeah, give me a minute, I've got to poison myself before I go. And you light up another cigarette. What's the intentionality there? What is the intention that you're trying to get from actually deciding, yes, this is an important thing for me to do, is to put one of these cancer sticks in my mouth and keep going? What's the intention? And you might say, well, I have to do it. It's part of my habit. Well, that's what I want you to think about with respect to intentionality.
Yeah.
And if you have questions about quitting, I want to be able to help you with that. From a perspective of, there's a great website called iwanttostopsmoking.com. Check that out if you want to do that. Just the way it's spelled, I want to stop smoking. And it's a great community online right now on Facebook, if you happen to use Facebook. And there's a lot of good information from there. iwanttostopsmoking.com is something that you can ask some questions on, get some other information. And the bottom line is I want you to go back to the intentionality that we've been talking about and thinking about what it is you want to do with your life, with your lungs, with your health in general. And we're going to talk about that as something you don't have to feel anchored by and anchored down by and weighted down. Anyway, just thought I would bring that up for your consideration. It's been nice to talk with you about it, Gary. Thank you for giving me the opportunity.
Yeah, thanks for those 3 points. I think those are really important, Dr. Matt. I could probably talk about smoking a lot because I did it a lot. And, you know, talking about big business, I won't say the company. If anybody's watching this and knows, they know my mom worked for a big company. And it was one of those reasons why I smoked, was because I had access to cigarettes. And there's a whole series of conversations we could have around smoking. But at the end of the day, people ask me why I do what I do today. And I say, because we all have a choice. My mom chose to smoke. It wasn't cigarettes that killed her, it was her choice that killed her, right? And we can all choose to be active, eat well, and stay happy, and try to work towards those choices. So that's what I choose. And it's something like if people are ready to quit smoking, they have to make that choice. We talked about that a little bit before we started this recording. And I think that that's the big thing, is making that choice and feeling good about making the choice and then sticking to it and doing it. And that's a really important thing, is making the choice, sticking to it and doing it. And Dr. Matt, I know you can help people stick to it because that's what you do. So anybody who we can get to quit smoking, vaping, chewing tobacco, gosh, it's the greatest accomplishment we can make. Even if it's one person, it can save a life. So thanks so much, Dr. Matt, for fighting the fight on that and helping support people.
Thank you. Thank you for letting me do that. In fact, if you let me just indulge me for 1 second with a little bit of a commercial. People who use patches and gums and lozenges and things, if you look at the fine print on those documents, they're only 20 to 25% effective, which means 75% of people or higher go back.
Yeah.
Guess what? There are programs out there that are 90 to 95% effective without any use of any kind of medications or gums or lozenges at all. And in fact, after I did some research into all this stuff and decided how I wanted to best help people, given my mom and my father both being involved with cigarettes, I knew I could get behind one particular process, and that's the one that I use for people. And that process is 90 to 95% effective. So go to the website, iwanttostopsmoking.com. I'll be happy to answer your questions. And it is incredible. And within just a little over an hour, you could be completely as if you've never ever smoked in your whole life, and not be beholden to any of those other prescriptions or anything else ever again. So anyway, just want to throw that in there. The only reason I got behind it is because of its amazing success rate. So anyway, thank you very much for listening and for considering the idea of intentionality, and of course, coming out of this COVID thing, perhaps smoke-free.
That would be fantastic. Better lungs, better life, right?
Absolutely.
Thanks so much, Dr. Matt. Really great points. And again, if anybody has questions about quitting smoking, quitting vaping, quitting chewing tobacco, even if you just need to talk through some strategies on how to do that, I'm sure Dr. Matt would be happy to do that. I'll be happy to do that as well. Thanks so much. We'll tune in again for some more fun YouTube videos. Subscribe to our channel to see our updates. And we'll try to help you find ways to be active, eat well, and stay happy, not just for coronavirus, for COVID-19, but for your life.
Awesome. Thank you.